2019 has passed, and in the last decade we have witnessed the birth of many great and extraordinary games. Games like The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, which built greatness on something familiar. But also games like Fortnite that pushed the boundaries of our multiplayer experience to places we couldn't even imagine existed. And as the decade came to its ending, CD Projekt RED, the humble company behind the Witcher games, dropped a bomb. That bomb was Keanu Reeves. The gaming world lost its breath while the actor took the stage at E3 last summer. Gamers were already expecting CD Projekt's next game to be spectacular, but now, Cyberpunk 2077 is shaping up to be the game that will change everything. 5 years ago, the Polish-based company revolutionized the RPG genre with the release of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And we don't really ask ourselves if Cyberpunk is going to revolutionize the genre yet again, but rather, how drastically. The game was first announced back in 2012. Now, 8 years later, it's finally getting ready for release. Fun facts. CD Projekt RED released The Witcher 3 in 2015 with roughly 200 employees. Now, with the release of Cyberpunk, the company is around 1,000 strong. To put things in perspective, EA has over 9,000 employees, which is spread across all of their games, some of which has yearly releases like FIFA and Madden. We could count at least 10 game releases only in 2019. Also, almost all of their games has ongoing live services with new content added several times a year, but their games are not good. Cyberpunk 2077 comes out in April, right before the run-up to the new console wars. It's a big one. The new RPG is based on the classic tabletop game Cyberpunk 2020 with a healthy infusion of sky-high promises. In the past, CD Projekt RED found success by amplifying what it was already doing with an absurd amount of ambition. And that's the playbook here with Cyberpunk 2077. Take the reputation the studio developed with The Witcher 3 and use it to make the biggest RPG the world has ever seen. The game itself is set in the neon lights of Night City, a coastal metropolis lodged between Los Angeles and San Francisco. Night City is a fictional place, but it has a rich history all of its own. It was the setting for the original tabletop RPG Cyberpunk, the role-playing game of the dark future that was published in 1988. Since Cyberpunk 2077 is based on a pen and paper RPG, it has a ton of ways to make the main character your own. Beyond cosmetic customization, there are a ton of perks you can put points into. Do you want to be a silent assassin with katanas? Or maybe you're more interested in having an arsenal of high-tech weapons at your disposal. You could even build a character around no combat as a hacker who can manipulate the world around them to do their will. But while you create your own character to be the hero of your journey in-game, Night City itself is the true star of Cyberpunk. The city is really the core of Cyberpunk 2077. We approached it very holistically. We started with very big ideas of the city, and then we went into detail and detail and detail and detail, said one of the senior concept artists at CD Projekt RED. The hype around the game has been growing ever since the release of The Witcher 3. But when Keanu Reeves announced himself as a main character, the bomb went off and the hype exploded. Keanu Reeves plays the character of Johnny Silverhand, a virtual rock star that lives inside the protagonist's head. Reeves is not exactly starved for work these days, but was apparently enjoying himself so much he talked CD Projekt RED into giving Silverhand a bigger presence in the game. And yes, that alone should be a good sign of what we have in store for release. If all these things weren't enough, Cyberpunk 2077 is also getting multiplayer after launch. Unfortunately, we don't have an idea of what the mode will look like just yet. But for a game on this level to not take advantage of a multiplayer experience would be pretty silly, so it's probably gonna be something huge. At a certain point, it really becomes a question of what isn't in this game.